When life delivers its hardest blows, it does more than just knock you off your feet, it unmasks your true self, buried beneath the layers of comforting falsehoods you've been whispering to yourself. Perhaps the career that once defined your entire existence suddenly vanishes, or relationships unexpectedly fall apart, or maybe even that profound sense of purpose you once cherished gradually dissipates into nothingness. These experiences are not punishments meted out by some cosmic force, rather, they are urgent wake-up calls, compelling you to confront the realities of your existence. Stoicism, the ancient philosophy of resilience, teaches us that pain is not an adversary to be evaded, but rather a challenge to be embraced, mastered, and ultimately, transcended, if we aspire to genuine resilience. Today, we embark on an exploration of the potent truths that Stoics have understood for centuries, truths that will irrevocably alter your perception of suffering, setbacks, and the very essence of rebuilding from the ground up. Trust me, you will find value in every single moment of this exploration. Within these teachings lies wisdom capable of transforming your darkest hours into your greatest strengths. If you appreciate the content we are creating, there is a simple and cost-free way to express your gratitude. Simply click the subscribe button. Now, let us delve into the heart of the matter. Facing the stark reality of our circumstances often proves far more challenging than we initially anticipate. The initial shock of a devastating event can feel like a brutal knockout punch to the very core of our being, leaving us disoriented and teetering on the precipice of despair. It is at this critical juncture that we confront a crucial choice: to resist the reality of our situation with every fiber of our being, or to embrace it fully, accepting its harsh truths with unwavering resolve. Stoicism offers a powerful framework for navigating these turbulent moments, providing us with the tools to cultivate resilience and emotional fortitude. As the esteemed philosopher Epictetus wisely observed, it is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that truly matters. This statement is not merely a call to stoic endurance, it is an invitation to a transformative engagement with the very fabric of life. When we find ourselves at what appears to be rock bottom, it is easy to succumb to the belief that this marks the definitive end of our story. Yet, what if this perceived ending is, in reality, a new beginning? What if the very pain and disruption we are experiencing are serving to clear the ground, preparing the soil for new and vibrant growth? Pain, after all, possesses the power to shatter illusions. It strips away the carefully constructed veneer of our supposed stability, forcing us to confront the raw, unvarnished truth of our present circumstances. This confrontation, though initially painful, can be a profound gift, if we allow it to be. Pain demands that we cease pretending that everything is perfectly fine, that we relinquish our grip on outdated dreams and unviable plans that no longer serve our best interests. Consider, for a moment, how much of your suffering is truly caused by the event itself, and how much stems from your resistance to accepting its reality. Resistance, more often than not, prolongs our pain, trapping us in a vicious cycle of denial and despair, rendering us incapable of moving forward. Acceptance, on the other hand, is a potent form of empowerment. It entails seeing things as they truly are, devoid of wishful thinking or idealistic illusions, and choosing to engage with them from a place of strength, clarity, and unwavering resolve. Acceptance does not equate to liking the situation, nor does it imply passivity. Instead, it is a conscious and deliberate choice to acknowledge reality without allowing it to dictate your overall state of being. It is about saying to yourself, I see this situation for what it is, I do not necessarily like it, but I will face it head-on. This moment of acceptance marks the genesis of healing, signifying the end of your futile struggle against the unchangeable and redirecting your energy towards productive change and meaningful action. Yet, the path of acceptance is often met with an initial and powerful desire to escape, to avoid feeling the full weight of the pain. It is a natural human reaction to seek out comfort or distractions that temporarily numb the pain, whether it be immersing ourselves in work, indulging in excess, or mindlessly scrolling through social media for countless hours. These are all manifestations of our attempts to evade dealing with the underlying reality. Carl Jung, a pioneering figure in the field of psychology, astutely highlighted the inherent danger of such avoidance, stating that neurosis is always a substitute for legitimate suffering. This profound statement implies that the discomfort we so desperately try to dodge does not simply vanish into thin air, rather, it manifests in other, often far more harmful and insidious ways. By avoiding legitimate suffering, we are essentially trading short-term comfort for long-term dysfunction and unhappiness. So, how do we effectively embrace this Stoic approach to navigating life's inevitable challenges? The answer lies in choosing to remain present with our pain, to learn from its teachings, and to allow it to guide us towards a more authentic and resilient version of ourselves. It is about harnessing the insights gleaned from our difficulties to reconstruct our lives on a solid foundation of truth, awareness, and unwavering self-understanding. When we accomplish this, we honor our struggles not as definitive endpoints, but as potent catalysts for profound personal growth and transformative change. Embracing reality, especially when it shatters your world into a million pieces, is undeniably no easy feat. It demands immense courage, unwavering determination, and a willingness to see beyond the immediate pain and suffering. However, the rewards that await those who persevere are immeasurable. It offers a clear pathway out of the chaos of unexpected changes and guides us towards a life characterized by depth, meaning, and true, unshakable resilience. Remember, it is not the absence of obstacles that defines our lives, but rather how we choose to respond to them with grace, fortitude, and wisdom. Each moment of acceptance is a significant step towards not only surviving but thriving in the face of adversity. Turning away from our pain may seem like the most natural course of action, the default emergency response for self-preservation. Yet this instinct, while understandable on a primal level, is often precisely what keeps us trapped in destructive cycles of suffering and denial. You see, in the midst of profound upheaval, when a job is lost, a relationship crumbles, or when we are confronted with a deeply personal loss, it is incredibly tempting to reach for anything that can momentarily distract us from our distress. This is where the timeless Stoic wisdom of Marcus Aurelius shines through, reminding us that, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Understand this profound truth, and you will discover an inner reservoir of strength you never knew you possessed. This concept, you see, isn't about turning a blind eye to your suffering, nor is it about engaging in the futile exercise of denying the existence of your pain. Far from it. Instead, it's a call to arms, an invitation to bravely confront your challenges directly, head-on, without flinching. It's about acknowledging the difficulty, accepting its presence, and then, and only then, facing it with unwavering resolve. To truly realize your potential for resilience, one must first acknowledge the very obstacles that stand in the way. Therefore, confront your pain, because in doing so, you begin to dismantle its power over you. This isn't mere optimism, it's a strategic approach to overcoming adversity, a path toward lasting fortitude. Why endure such profound pain? Because, contained within that pain, resides essential insights into what genuinely holds importance for us. It reveals our unadulterated values, devoid of any affectation or pretense. Pain, in its most authentic form, communicates deeply about our true priorities and what demands our attention in our lives. This is not merely a philosophical concept, rather, it represents a practical strategy for cultivating emotional growth. The esteemed Carl Jung once remarked, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." Therefore, attempting to evade pain does not diminish it, instead, it often intensifies it, akin to drinking seawater in an attempt to alleviate severe thirst. Envision, for a moment, that you are sitting with that pain, without running or numbing it, simply observing. Initially, it might feel overwhelming. You might encounter a tempest of emotions, grief, anger, confusion. Yet, each emotion serves as a messenger, a guide that, if heeded, can aid in recalibrating your path forward. As you commence processing these emotions, you are actively engaging in the work of constructing a new version of yourself, one that comprehends its depths, its resilience, and its authentic needs. Stoicism imparts to us the value of transforming obstacles into opportunities. The pain that initially presents itself as your greatest adversary can evolve into your most insightful teacher. Now is the opportune moment to embrace the discomfort, to explore the contours of your anguish, and to extract the lessons it holds. It is a transformative process where, from the ashes of your former expectations and dreams, a clearer, more focused individual can emerge. Therefore, when the chaos of emotions begins to surge, remember that this, too, is an integral part of the journey. It is not about suppressing or conquering your feelings, rather, it is about understanding them, managing them with wisdom, and transforming them into stepping stones toward a better, more enlightened self. This approach does not merely mend old wounds, it fundamentally redefines them. It transforms scars into stories and past pain into progress. In embracing your pain, you are not merely surviving, you are reshaping your life's narrative, from one of victimhood to one of heroism. You are not simply getting through something, you are growing through it. This active engagement with your inner turmoil is not for the faint of heart, but it is for anyone who seeks genuine peace, and not just the absence of conflict. By confronting your suffering directly, you harness its transformative power and pave the way for genuine renewal and revitalization. This is not merely survival, it is about thriving in the truest sense. Emotions can surge like a tempest, fierce and commanding. In those moments when life's fabric seems to unravel, one minute your world is steady, and the next, it is as if the ground beneath you has given way. In these times of sudden turmoil, our initial reactions can be potent and overwhelming, driven by the rawest of our feelings. Yet, it is precisely in these moments that Stoic philosophy urges a counterintuitive strength, the strength not to act immediately on what we feel. The wisdom of the Stoics, echoed by philosophers like Seneca, who claimed, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself," encourages us not just to face our struggles, but to use them as a forge for our character. But here's the crucial part, proving oneself doesn't mean succumbing to every emotional impulse. It means developing the capacity to manage these impulses, to question them, to understand their origins, before allowing them to dictate our actions. Imagine the initial emotions that hit us in moments of crisis as the first drops of rain in a storm. They signal what's coming, but they are not the storm itself. They are messengers, and while they can be harbingers of necessary actions, they are not in themselves mandates to act. Carl Jung, a proponent of diving deep into the psyche's murky waters, advised that emotion is not opposed to reason, but to chaos. It's in recognizing this that you find true emotional mastery. It's not about bottling up or denying what you feel, but rather acknowledging your emotions without letting them cloud your judgment. This Stoic restraint is not suppression, it's intelligent regulation. When you feel anger, acknowledge it, explore it even, without letting it spill over into words or actions you might later regret. When sadness envelopes you, allow yourself to experience the depth of your feeling, but remind yourself that you are not defined by this sadness. It is a part of your current experience, not the entirety of it. In that critical pause, where you hold your reactions just long enough to examine them, you gain something invaluable, clarity. It's within this clarity that you begin to see not just the nature of your emotions, but also the potential traps they can lay. For, in the grip of unchecked emotion, the world can indeed begin to shrink. Your personal pain can seem like the universe's only agenda, isolating you in a prison of your own perspective. However, by exercising Stoic wisdom, by questioning and regulating your immediate impulses, you open up a broader vista. You realize that your pain, while profound, is but one thread in the vast human tapestry. This realization is freeing and humbling. It connects you to the collective human experience, a realization that you are not alone in your struggles. By not trusting every initial emotional surge, you do more than protect yourself from rash decisions, you expand your understanding of yourself and your place in the world. You learn that every emotion is an opportunity, not just to react, but to grow, to learn, and to integrate into the greater whole of your life's journey. This integration is what Carl Jung might call the process towards individuation, a fully realized self that is as wise in emotion as it is in reason. By mastering this Stoic rule, you don't just navigate your life more smoothly, you chart a course with a compass calibrated by wisdom, reason, and a profound connection to the human condition. This is the essence of true resilience and authentic living, where each emotional experience, however challenging, contributes to a more nuanced and complete understanding of oneself and the world. It's easy to become captivated by our own suffering, to fall into the narrative that our pain is unique and incomprehensible to others. This inward focus can be intensely isolating, wrapping us in a cocoon of self-pity and despair. But Stoicism, with its profound psychological insights, encourages us to adopt a broader perspective. The philosophy invites us to step back and consider a more expansive view, reminding us of a timeless truth: think lightly of yourself and deeply of the world. This isn't to diminish the significance of personal pain, but to place it in a wider context. When we obsess over our struggles, viewing them through a microscope, every issue appears larger than life, every setback seems insurmountable. However, by adopting the Stoic practice of zooming out and looking at our lives as part of a greater whole, we begin to see our experiences not as singular, catastrophic events, but as threads in the rich tapestry of human experience. This shift in perspective is not just about reducing the weight of our own problems, but about recognizing our shared human condition. Pain, as Carl Jung pointed out, is a crucial aspect of personal development. He famously said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." Our personal trials, while challenging, are also opportunities for growth and understanding. They connect us with the collective struggles and triumphs of humanity. When we understand that suffering is a universal part of the human experience, our own pain feels less like an anomaly and more like a bridge connecting us to others. This realization can lead us to engage more fully with the world around us. Instead of dwelling solely on our misfortunes, we can turn our attention outward, engaging in activities like reading philosophy, volunteering, creating art, or learning new skills. Doesn't just distract us from our troubles, it enriches our lives and connects us with the larger human story. These activities remind us that we are part of a society, a history, a flow of human endeavor that stretches beyond our individual lives. Moreover, this outward focus helps us combat the toxic habit of comparison, the kind of comparison that sours into resentment and bitterness when we look at others who seem happier, more successful, or less burdened. Instead of envying others, understanding our place in the larger narrative of life encourages us to find lessons and inspiration in the stories of those who have also faced and overcome adversity. In practice, this Stoic lesson urges us to consider our role in the community and the impact we can have on others. It shifts our focus from what we are enduring to what we can contribute. This can be profoundly liberating. It helps lift the veil of isolation that suffering often draws around us, revealing a world brimming with possibilities, connections, and new beginnings. When we stop making our narrative all about our suffering, we open ourselves up to a richer, more diverse life story. We move from being passive recipients of our fates to active participants in a shared journey. This doesn't just diminish our pain, it transforms it into a tool for connection and transformation. By aligning our personal stories with the broader human experience, we find that our individual pains, while significant, are also pathways to deeper empathy, understanding, and engagement with the world. This is the essence of living not as solitary sufferers, but as integrated members of a resilient, evolving community. In the aftermath of disruption, when our lives seem to be falling apart, it's incredibly common to look around and compare our struggles with the apparent successes of others. Observing someone else's seemingly perfect circumstances while we deal with chaos can ignite a sense of injustice. Why them? The question echoes, why now? It's a deceptively simple query, yet pregnant with potential implications. It delves into the heart of timing, prompting us to examine the confluence of circumstances that make this moment, this precise juncture in time, uniquely suitable, or perhaps even imperative, for action. It asks us to consider what has shifted, what preconditions have been met, or what urgent needs demand immediate attention. Indeed, Why Now isn't merely about the present, it's about the past informing the present, and the present shaping the future. We must consider the historical trajectory, the gradual accumulation of events and decisions that have led us to this critical point. What developments have transpired that were not possible, say, a year ago, 5 years ago, or even a decade ago? Are there newly emerging technologies, shifting social attitudes, or evolving economic landscapes that create a fertile ground for progress, or conversely, necessitate a swift response to impending challenges? Furthermore, the inquiry compels us to evaluate the potential consequences of delay. If we postpone action, what opportunities might we forfeit? What risks might escalate? What problems might become intractable? The urgency imbued in "Why Now" underscores the understanding that time is a finite resource, and that inaction can be as consequential as action itself. Therefore, a thorough assessment of the present context, viewed through the lens of historical developments and future projections, is essential to discern the true significance of now. In essence, the question, "Why now?" serves as a powerful catalyst for critical thinking and strategic decision-making. It forces us to move beyond superficial justifications and to engage in a deeper exploration of the underlying forces that shape our world. Thus, understanding the "why" behind the "now" is paramount to navigating the complexities of our era and seizing the opportunities that lie before us. Why not me? This plaintive cry, a siren song of self-doubt, can echo in the chambers of our minds, relentlessly. Such queries, unanswered and unexamined, often precipitate a downward spiral, a vortex of bitterness and envy. This emotional maelstrom, far from providing solace or solutions, serves only to inflict further damage upon our inner selves, weakening our resolve and clouding our judgment. However, this corrosive mindset, as the esteemed Stoics have sagaciously taught us through the ages, is akin to an insidious poison, slowly but surely devastating from within. It does not merely erode our potential for experiencing genuine happiness and contentment, it attacks something even more fundamental: our very capacity for recovery, for bouncing back from adversity, and for embracing personal growth. Indeed, it threatens to incapacitate us. Stoicism, with its profound and timeless insights into the very depths of human nature and the human condition, presents a potent antidote, a powerful remedy to combat the venomous sting of jealousy and invidious comparison, the transformative power of gratitude. It allows us to reframe our experiences. Epictetus, one of the most revered and influential Stoic philosophers of antiquity, offers a gem of wisdom that remains incredibly pertinent and relevant in our modern lives, asserting with unwavering conviction, "It is not the man who possesses too little, but rather the man whose desires constantly outstrip his grasp, who incessantly craves more, who is truly poor." This powerful and insightful idea underscores the inherently destructive nature of envy, how it gnaws at our souls, and, conversely, the liberating and empowering potential of gratitude, how it sets us free. By fixating our attention, often obsessively, on what others possess, on their perceived advantages and blessings, and, more importantly, on what we perceive ourselves as fundamentally lacking, we tragically lose sight of the true abundance that already exists within our own lives, within our reach. We become blind to our own riches. Each and every one of us, regardless of our particular circumstances, our social standing, or our current state of affairs, possesses something of immense value, something worthy of profound appreciation, the very breath that sustains us, the cognitive capacity to think critically and creatively, the boundless ability to dream vividly, and the unwavering determination to strive towards meaningful goals. These seemingly simple gifts are not trivial assets to be taken for granted. On the contrary, they constitute the very essence of life itself, the bedrock of our potential to shape our destinies and leave our unique mark on the world. Recognizing and genuinely appreciating these inherent gifts, acknowledging their profound significance, is the crucial first step towards rebuilding a life that may have been shattered by unforeseen circumstances, by tragedy, or by disappointment. The fundamental problem with envy lies in its insidious ability to distort our perspective, to warp our perception of reality. It subtly convinces us that we are somehow inherently lesser, inadequate, or deficient simply because our current life storyline, our personal narrative, does not perfectly match someone else's carefully curated and often misleading highlight reel, their public persona. But gratitude, in its quiet power, offers a transformative shift in this distorted perspective. It doesn't merely counterbalance envy, acting as a counterweight, it fundamentally transforms the very way we view our own personal journey through life, with all its twists and turns, its peaks and valleys. Gratitude does not naively ignore the undeniable reality of pain, suffering, or difficulty. It does not pretend that hardships do not exist. Instead, it allows us to perceive these challenges as integral and indispensable parts of a larger, more comprehensive narrative of growth, resilience, and ultimate recovery. It reframes our setbacks as opportunities for learning and strengthening. Gratitude reminds us, assures us, that we are still active and engaged participants in the grand race of life, not merely sidelined observers, passively watching from the bleachers as others compete and succeed. This profound perspective shift is absolutely crucial because it effectively refocuses our precious energy, diverting it away from the fruitless and ultimately self-defeating act of coveting what others possess and redirecting it towards the empowering act of actively enhancing and enriching our own lives. Instead of harboring resentment towards someone else's well-deserved success, or their seemingly effortless achievements, gratitude encourages us to draw inspiration from their example, to view their accomplishments as tangible signs of what is indeed possible, and to diligently utilize our own unique talents, resources, and experiences to steadfastly pursue our own distinct goals and aspirations. In the poignant words of the renowned psychoanalyst Carl Jung, envy does not liberate, it binds. It shackles us to negativity. Gratitude, on the other hand, miraculously frees us from the heavy chains of bitterness and resentment, allowing us to clearly see the inherent abundance that already exists within our own lives, waiting to be recognized and appreciated. When you consciously choose to replace the corrosive emotion of envy with the uplifting and empowering practice of gratitude, you are not merely altering your immediate emotional state, you are fundamentally and irrevocably changing the very way you interact with the world around you, the way you perceive your place in it. You consciously transition from a debilitating mindset of scarcity and cutthroat competition to a more liberating and expansive mindset of abundance, generosity, and genuine collaboration. This transformative shift does not merely heal your individual life, it exponentially expands it, opening up new possibilities and horizons. You begin to engage more fully and authentically, not simply to improve your own personal situation or advance your own selfish interests, but also to actively contribute to the overall well-being of others, fostering a sense of community and shared purpose. This, ultimately, is the very essence of a life well lived, a life that is not defined by the material possessions you accumulate or the accolades you receive, but rather by the meaningful contributions you make, the positive impact you have on the lives of those around you. The arduous path from a broken, fragmented life to one characterized by unwavering strength, authentic self-expression, and genuine purpose is not traversed by wistfully wishing we possessed someone else's story, their advantages, or their opportunities. It is forged by courageously and wholeheartedly embracing our own unique story, with all of its inherent imperfections, its inevitable challenges, and its unexpected detours. By consciously layering the timeless principles of Stoic wisdom, accepting the immutable reality of the present moment, bravely facing our pain and discomfort without flinching, mastering our emotional responses through conscious self-regulation, looking beyond our own immediate concerns to serve a greater good, and, above all, consistently choosing gratitude, we do not merely repair our lives, patching up the cracks and mending the broken pieces, we fundamentally rebuild them, forging them stronger and more resilient than they ever were before. As you navigate the often turbulent complexities of life, remember that the most effective antidote to the insidious poison of envy is not merely to passively ignore or dismiss the successes of others, but rather to genuinely celebrate their achievements, to find joy in their triumphs, and, most importantly, to cherish your own unique journey, with all of its inherent potential, its boundless promise, and its unfolding possibilities. This, ultimately, is not simply the way to overcome adversity, it is the true path to thriving, to flourishing, and to living a life of genuine meaning and purpose. As we wrap up our exploration of these profound Stoic principles, remember that these are not merely abstract philosophical ideas to be pondered in isolation, they are practical, actionable tools that can be readily applied to navigate the daily challenges and unexpected curveballs that life inevitably throws our way. Each principle we've explored, whether it's wholeheartedly embracing acceptance of what we cannot control, harnessing the transformative power of pain, or consciously transforming the corrosive emotion of envy into the liberating practice of gratitude, prepares you not only to bravely face adversity head-on, but also to emerge from it stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. Think of these timeless Stoic principles as your unwavering guide through the inevitable storms of life, helping you to navigate the turbulent waters with clarity and composure, and ultimately enabling you to emerge from the darkness wiser, more compassionate, and infinitely more resilient. If you found today's insights to be particularly valuable and thought-provoking, I encourage you to continue your personal journey of self-discovery and growth with us by watching the next video recommended on your screen. Your continued engagement, your insightful comments, and your active participation are what collectively shapes into the thriving and supportive community that it is today. Thank you, from the bottom of my heart, for being with us, for sharing your time and attention, and for embracing the principles of Stoicism in your own life. And always remember, every challenge, every setback, every obstacle is not merely a cause for despair, it is a valuable opportunity to learn, to grow, and to strengthen the very foundations of your character.